Francois, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Brekland. I want to start by talking about a problem that's happening right here, and I mean right down the road. So 2 years ago, growers woke up to scenes like this in the middle of May. Overnight, temperatures had dipped to about 25 Fahrenheit, and their nice vine grapes that are about this long started getting frozen by frost and were damaged. And by the next morning, Cornell Cooperative Extension estimates that across the region there was 30 to 50% field loss. Now, there's two scary facts I want to share with you about this. The first is that the damage was heavily uneven. Some vineyards lost up to 100% yield loss for the entire year. The second is that in this region, historically frost occurred every 10 to 15 years. This was the third frost in 4 years, with another major one in 2020 and a lighter one in 2021. And many growers told us, if I get another one like this next year, I will not survive. Now, what's actually happening here? So spring frost is a challenge in perennial crops. So think grapes, but also apples, bush fruit like blueberries. Because in early spring, as crops start to bud out and blossom, their frost tolerance decreases. And so what we've seen is that over the last several years, as winters have gotten warmer, crops are budding out earlier than they used to. At the same time, we're seeing a shift towards more extreme temperatures. So what used to be a 28 Fahrenheit frost is now a 25 Fahrenheit frost. And both of those combined are leading to more severe and more frequent frost events. This problem is not restricted to this region alone. We're seeing similar things in other temperate climates. So France has seen 3 major frosts in the last 5 years, affecting multiple regions and a range of crops. The European Union as a whole saw 2.5 to 3.5 billion euros in losses in 2021 that affected more than half the European Union. We're also seeing this in Argentina, Chile, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. It's truly a global problem now. We're also seeing this in places you wouldn't necessarily expect. Avocados in South Africa, coffee in Brazil and Southeast Asia, even tea in India and China are now being affected by frost damage. Globally, we estimate that focusing on grapes first, growers are getting about 2.5 to 6.5 billion in losses per year, just from frost. If we extend that to all crops, including orchards, that grows to 10 to 26 billion in losses per year. Now, this is just fruit value, nothing above that. There are other systems on the market today, but they have limitations. They either only offer limited amounts of protection, they are very resource intensive using enormous amounts of water, or are really expensive, especially on CapEx. Many of the growers we've spoken to, including growers in this region, have told us they've tried this technology, they've looked at it, and it does not meet their needs or fit in their operations. So what do? At Brekland, we have developed a proprietary spray-on biodegradable foam that insulates crops from frost damage. It's basically a sweater for your crop. What we do is the day before frost, we spray this product on. It protects it for 24 to 48 hours or longer, down to 25 Fahrenheit. It then is fully rain washable and completely biodegradable, leaving no residue. Now, foam as a frost protection technology is not new. There's work all the way back to the 1930s. There was a lot of work done in the 50s and 60s, and it's been shown to be very effective. It's never been converted to a product formula. So over the last 2.5 years, working with growers in this region, we've made a series of critical technology breakthroughs, making frost protection using foam feasible for the first time. We've developed a spray technology that integrates with farmers' existing equipment on farm to rapidly and easily deploy this product. We've developed a low-cost formulation using natural commodity ingredients to make it affordable. And we've packaged all of this in a non-toxic and fully biodegradable formulation. All of this has resulted in 3 inventions, which we've patented. And we've done rigorous testing in field and in lab to test the protection levels of this product. And we are at the point of commercialization. We're currently building our first commercial units, which will be ready at the end of the year, and we'll start deploying those in January this year in this region. Now, one of the questions you might be asking yourself is, this is a chemical product. Is this safe? So this is what we shared with you guys. This has been at our booth the last few days. This is made from food and cosmetic grade ingredients. Totally safe to eat. I will say, it tastes a little, So if a toddler eats it, it won't hurt them, but they probably won't do it again. So, thank you. So our business model is pretty straightforward. It's basically the razor blade. So we sell to growers a piece of hardware that integrates with their existing system to make them foam capable. It's about $20,000 and will cover 50 acres. That's a low margin product for us. We also sell to them a foam concentrate. They hold that on farm until they use it, and then every time they actually spray the product, they reorder. That's a high margin product for us. As we scale this to across the world, we will have a platform to start developing other foam-based products. And these would also be high margin and target other problems. And we'll talk about those in a second. The key here is we have developed an accessible technology. Our CapEx costs are a 10th to a 20th of existing equipment on farm today, and most of the cost for growers is actually in the chemistry itself. So they only pay for it when they use it. At the same time, we are profitable on every sale. It means we have a balance sheet that doesn't require enormous amounts of debt, and we don't have to raise enormous amounts of capital to actually keep us liquid. And we're building a platform with the potential to expand to other problems. Now, how does that stack us up competitively? There's a lot on this slide, but I'd like you to focus on the right-hand side. And there's 2 points to make. The first is we offer similar to better levels of protection than anything else in the market today. The second is that the payback for our product is less than a single frost for an average frost event. What that means is that for a grower, if they're concerned about frost on their farm, our technology is the easiest and most accessible, regardless of how frequently it occurs. Our commercialization path is pretty straightforward. We're initially focusing on the eastern US and the French markets. These are places that have had severe frost damage in the last few years, and there's clear demand for our type of product. We are currently approved for sale in New York State, Pennsylvania, and several other states. We've actually just crossed a major hurdle in France and got clearance from ANS, their version of the EPA, last week. We have signed our first paid pilots, and we're currently negotiating our first purchase orders for delivery in fall of 26, early 27. Our goal is to have first revenue this coming spring and be EBITDA positive by 2028. At that point, we'll expand to the Western US and the rest of the European Union, and eventually go global and expand to other fruit. Frost protection is really the entry point for us. One of the things we've realized over the last 2 years is we have made a fundamental breakthrough in foam formulation. We've been talking to many of the major agrochemical companies, and they're very excited about using our foam technology as a smart crop carrier for the future. Our vision is that the future of crop protection is not actually developing a new smart active. It's actually developing a carrier to take existing actives that are well tested and bring new functions to them and making them better for the farm. We have done early stage prototyping of a first product this past summer in California, and we're now working with Cornell Cooperative Extension to narrow down what the next product would be, and we would test that and build it right here in New York State. Now, I'm biased, but I think we've got a pretty amazing team. I myself grew up on a dairy farm. I have a PhD in geochemistry from Yale and spent 3 years in McKinsey & Company doing product and corporate strategy across food and ag. My co-founder, Phil, has 15 years R&D experience, including 6 at Regeneron doing drug delivery systems. He has patents across biotextiles, drug delivery, tissue engineering, and now crop inputs. And Fabian Chatham is our hardware engineer. This is his 3rd startup. At his last startup, he was the first engineer on staff and took them from small lab scale all the way to large commercial pilots before they were acquired. We also have a deep pool of advisors that cover all the major stages of what we need to grow this business. We have started this company in New York City. That's because I live there, and frankly, it's not a bad place to start. But we need to grow it somewhere else. Over the last 2.5 years, we have been working in this region and have discovered the ecosystem and all the support we need to build the next phase of this company. So what does that actually mean for this award? Well, for $250,000, that would allow us to build a dedicated R&D center in this region. That would allow us to accelerate the commercialization of our first product and start helping to protect growers in this region from frost faster, creating 3 direct jobs and several more indirect. For the $500,000 prize, it would allow us to concentrate and consolidate all of our hardware manufacturing here, reaching economies of scale faster and allowing us to accelerate our commercialization. And finally, if we were to win the full $1 million prize, it would allow us to accelerate that next generation of product development that we'd be doing here, and would help the Grow New York region be one of the leaders in crop delivery systems. I I'm so happy and so excited about what we've been doing the last 2.5 years and can't wait for what the future brings. Thank you and love your questions.
Well done.